All right, everybody. I am going to morning like I do every morning. Well, not every morning, but Monday I do. Um, what I'm with you guys about is I'm going to chat with you on downsizing. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit difficult conversation, but it's something I hear a lot of people say that they wish they would have done before somebody passed away. They say they wish they would have had these conversations. I'm going to give you kind of 3 ways to kind of get that brought up and get through some of that and what to do if that person isn't So I'm just going to give you kind of some things that I have heard and have encountered with people when I'm doing real estate. They are going through a lot. And so they tend to tell more sometimes than they really probably need to, but that's okay, because that's what I'm here for, is to listen. Okay. So that's why I've titled The Conversation. Okay. And I don't care if this is a conversation that you're having with a parent, if you're having it with a husband, spouse of any kind. If you're having that kind of conversation, I don't care who you're having this conversation with. I do feel it is something that the conversation needs to, and then how do you move forward with that? Okay. The first big one that I'm going to say, it's kind of like, how do you even bring it up? When you get together, I want to always talk about the end okay. So if it's something that you're curious about, I recommend being in the room and just being like, hey, mom, dad, spouse, whoever you're speaking to, just be like, so this has been weighing heavy on my heart. And I think it's something that we really need to have this conversation about. Like, what do you have set in plan for the final? What do you have set in plan to do with all of your stuff? When do you feel like it's necessary that you might need to look at a nursing home? Are you thinking that you are going to come and live with me? Are you open to that? I think part of what needs to happen is we are open for and what they're not. And if you don't just bring it up and call it out in the room, you're probably not going to be with it. Okay. And that is just the honest to God truth, that if you don't bring it up and don't call it out in the room, you just honest to God and never left with these conversations. You're not going to the negative in the fact that something's going to happen to them soon, but be prepared and know what your wishes are. Let's face it, we don't know what tomorrow is never promised, right? Tomorrow is never promised. If you're 20, you're 14, I don't care if you're 35 or 40 or 55 or 65 or 95. Never promised. Never. Okay. And so if you are not talking about this stuff, or if you have not talked to them about this stuff, no better time than now to bring it up. No better time. Just in casualization, one time we were talking about somebody who passed away, and I think we were talking about them having an open casket. I was talking about this with my parents. I'm like, are they having an open casket accident, right? And they're like, yeah, we do believe they're having. My dad made the comment. He's like, well, I don't know if I think I want to be cremated. That kind of took that from my parents, because I would have guessed that. Okay. So that is why, it is good to have these conversation so you aren't alluded to something that you idea of what's going to happen or what you think that they want. Okay. So just bring up the elephant in the room and just have a conversation about it. Talk lightly. Number 2, how to handle if they don't want to talk about it. Like if you bring it up and it brings them true discomfort, then the new elephant in the room is, why is this bringing discomfort to talk about this? Do you not want me to know what you want? Is it something you don't want to think about? Maybe you need to see what their apprehensions are with this. Okay. Because it's not always cut and dry. Don't want to think about the end. Some people are very at peace with it. It happens, but some people don't want to think about those questions on why. Why don't you want? So maybe if it's not brought up in a conversation, maybe it's they don't want to verbalize it, because if they verbalize it, well, fine. Then put it down on paper. Then at least do me this solid and journal it and put it down on paper for me, okay? At least tell me on paper what you want to happen so I know, okay? And then change the subject. Talk about something else. Maybe talk about, hey, have you thought about just, decluttering there from, when you first got married, would it be helpful if we just started getting rid of some of that stuff so you're not keeping all of this? Are you overwhelmed by the thought of doing this? Maybe that is just something that I can help you with. Okay. So offer your help, offer your care about. Okay. I mean, if you have a whole cabinet full of Ziploc containers that you only use 3 or 4 of them, keep all of them, but maybe get rid of all of them, but maybe a dozen of them. That way, if they have company and they have leftovers, then, gosh, I can't talk today. Then they will food home with. Okay. Donate those to the churches. How many times the churches have these big meals and they're always looking for Cool Whip containers or whatever to send over, then that church, just say, hey, Dad, whatever it may be, you're not using all these Ziploc containers. Let's go through and pick out best. Get rid of the ones that are crappy. Let's keep you a few, but then let's just give the rest of these to the church. So when they have those big meals, they can leftovers home with people. That always makes people feel like it's something, an idea, and you can do that with even Tupperware. If they have name brand stuff, Tupperware stuff, just pass it along to somebody else. And you're not using it. Why store it? Get rid of it. Move it on. You don't have dinners here anymore. Let's move on. So that's just something that you can do is just find out why, and then just ease into it of them thinking about getting rid of some of the stuff that really is kind of going to waste and not being used right now. Okay. Then the third is do help them start downsizing of this stuff. Okay. Start having some more conversations, light conversations about it, especially if they don't want to talk about it, then be like, okay, so what can I help you do? Do you just need to get a dumpster and start throwing some things? How do you want this to go down? Allow them to feel like they are in control of their stuff. I don't care if you're talking to a spouse. I don't care if you're talking to a grandparent. I don't care if you're talking to a really close friend. But allow them to have some say over their stuff, say on what's happening. And it may take a few of these conversations to get them warmed up and to get them going, and get them rocking and rolling in this place of mind and done conversation. Some are going to experience that. But, if I've heard once, 100 times, I wish I would have had some of what my parents wanted or what my mom wanted or my dad or my grandma or whatever, what they wanted and were expecting when it was done. talk about it like that. Talk about it in that's of mine. You don't know until you ask. We all have different opinions on what we want done, and that's okay. We're all individuals. But if we that they don't want. So that is always something that I always think it's a good impulse to have a conversation on that part of, okay, have that conversation. Even if you have to lightly just kind of touch on it from time to time to get all your information, okay, spend the time with them to get this conversation started and get it through, because this is probably one of the most important that we have. It was never telling my kids about birds and the bees, because you just didn't want to think about that. You just didn't want to talk to them about that, because that meant they were growing up and that they might actually be thinking about that. And nobody wants to, but it's a conversation I had to have. It's a conversation that I had to go through with my children. And this is a conversation that we need to have if you are a parent, have with our kids as well. Nobody wants to talk about us not being here, but we need to have some idea of that so we can move forward. Okay. So with that said, I hope this kind of makes it easier for loved ones about it. And I'm also wanting to go ahead and let you guys know, pop over if you're on YouTube, then go ahead and when I come on, because I'm coming on daily, and this is important for me. This is something that I've heard a lot of things that are being talked about, and it's something I deal with. Okay. So, if you want more of this, you can always pop over to my group. We get a little more into emotions and that kind of stuff with this. So if you're this kind of person, then maybe that's not the group for you. But if you want to have some emotions and how people have dealt with some things, pop over to Mom Self-Discovery, Women Writing a New Chapter. I call a sandwich generation. So I have kids that I'm still raising and parents that are getting older. So they call that a sandwich generation. And these are things that I'm dealing with. So that's why I feel like with my real estate and everything, I can kind of get into this a little bit more with you guys. Okay. Also, if you're on Facebook, probably is my channel. Okay. And like and subscribe. But I am still drawing, and I'm giving away real estate. We can talk about downsizing. We can talk about whatever you want. We can, and if you have any more questions about the things here, that's great. I am going to go ahead and draw for that. I'll get you the date tomorrow for that. And go ahead and like and comment on any of the videos, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, and go ahead and like. Also, like I said, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, pop over to my Mom's Self-Discovery, or you can go to my website too. It's just RhondaNiehaus down here in the lower corner. Whoops, let me see. We're down here in the lower corner right there. Oop, right. Sorry, there. Okay, we're down there in the road. It's RhondaNiehaus.com. I've got some blog posts over there. I'm going to be putting up a course over there pretty soon. It's going to be eyes to grab. So go ahead and pop over there. But otherwise, I hope you guys all have a great day. I will talk to you guys all tomorrow.